Hello and welcome to another episode of Ashes to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. Bordy, another night of ashes.
It is, man. It is, dude. How you doing tonight, Red?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Got back from vacation, back in the work, in the work grind again. So, it gets a little rough, that transition back. I remember why I don't take big vacations anymore. It's because I don't like getting behind at work. And then you come back and then you got to catch up. So,
yep, that part does suck, but I do envy the vacation part. I haven't had one in a while. It'd be nice to join that club.
Yeah. I had a good time. Me and my wife did for sure. So, dude, real quick here, if you haven't subbed to the YouTube channel yet, sub. We plan on having. I'm promoting us, dude. Just from the jump, why beat around the bush, dude? We sub to the YouTube channel. We plan on putting tons of Ashes of Creation content for you over the coming weeks, month, years. We're looking forward to alpha. So hit that subscription button. Also the Twitter. You should follow us on Twitter and check out Ashes Fans. We update that with new news and everything. We're looking forward to, again, the alpha, the drop in the NDA over there as well. So Bordy, let's hop right in. We don't have a ton for you guys tonight because they are focused on I feel like putting out a good alpha client for everybody that's involved in the Alpha 1 testing. But we are going to discuss some things on this episode of the podcast. So the creative director's letter we have here is an interesting one because they updated the studio. Which, dude, they basically stated that they're excited to announce that they're going to be returning June 15th, and I think this is a big step for this studio, dude, to get in their new studio space and be working together collaboratively in person. I'm excited for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that they're probably excited to get back in there too. I think COVID definitely threw a wrench in things, and so it'll be nice to see them back in an actual studio. I'm sure they're incredibly excited to get in there, man.
Also, Bordy, they are hiring more people, which seems insane, dude. They just perpetually keep hiring people, and these aren't like they're firing people and having to replace them. They're adding new positions, man. So that this team is gotta be big because what do they say? We will need to grow by roughly 50% within this year to target a headcount of about 150 full-time people. That is crazy.
That's a large team, but I think for a project this ambitious to try to push it out in a timely manner, they're going to have that much manpower. And so it's exciting that they are hiring that many people because I do think it's going to take that many to make a good product in a timely manner. So we'll see how it goes, but it is crazy. Their team just continues to grow. So something's going right over there.
Yes, I do think that you're right on all fronts there because this is probably the most ambitious effort in the MMO genre in a long time. So we will see how that works out for them. And I'm glad that they have their mind is set on launch because they just continue to make a bigger and bigger team. Bordy. So here's another thing in the development update. They did say that they have been doing or continuing to do testing in the Alpha 1 preview. So they continue to push for June 1st as a date. Of course, they cannot predict unknown variables, so that's just something to continue to keep in mind. But they said they're doing a lot of stress testing because they're trying to move from version 4.25 to version 4.26 of Unreal Engine. Bordy, it's interesting because they've created this game on the Unreal Engine that obviously is kind of updated independently from the game. So it's interesting to see, the amount of work involved in just making sure that the server is up to date with the current version of Unreal.
Yeah, I can't speak on that stuff because I have no knowledge about any of that, but it seems like it would be a lot of work to transition that stuff over, and apparently it's going really well. It says that particular update went smoothly thanks to the hard work of their engineering teams. So I would imagine that they have people on that all the time whenever those things take place, and I can also imagine it'd probably be a lot of work to transition that stuff over. But again, I can't speak on it. I have no experience and no idea what that takes.
Taken, we should have had him on this episode.
Should have had him
we
on.
missed
He
the
could have told us.
opportunity. He
Yeah.
always flames
Dang.
us for not inviting him, which is completely untrue. Unfactual. He has an open invitation, boys. So let's out him while we get the chance.
Yeah. He's always commenting on YouTube saying that we never invite him. Well, this is your invite, dude. I mean,
it's open.
Now we'll know if he listens. Now we'll know if he listened to the podcast. He
literally is one of the 3 people involved in all of this. He has an open invitation. He can do whatever he wants. We none of us are the boss. We're all just guys hanging out, creating content. So exactly. If you guys want to see Taken on the podcast, then leave a comment. Where's Taken, or ask him why he's not on the podcast. Especially in these circumstances where it's basically programming. We have known nothing about it. I mean, Bordy is an accountant and I'm a nurse. So I don't know if you can get further away from programming, but yeah. So Bordy, what do you think about this? They are going to get sieges in to the alpha client. They were unsure about it. But it does look like it's going to make it in. So we're going to get to see some live non-NDA sieges during this alpha test. And Bordy, one of the things that we have seen is they can spawn thousands of bears. But what we haven't seen is, can you have hundreds of PvP participants going on in one activity? So it'd be cool to see them testing that.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm interested to see more than anything. Not even necessarily the mechanics of the siege, but how I want to see how well the server holds up to that many people in one area fighting, and all the particle effects from all the animations and everything that's going on. I want to see if they can.
Dude.
You
have to get it in there.
I want to see.
It's like an obligation.
I just want to see how the servers are going to perform this early on, and it is pretty impressive they were able to spawn so many bears in, and the servers were at least up. They weren't performing great, but they didn't crash, which is pretty impressive this early on. So we'll see. He does state here though that the siege component will obviously not be representative of what the siege system will be at launch or even in alpha 2, but they're going to keep us updated on the progress in the monthly live stream. So I really hope that sieges make it in, because he says that it's appearing more and more likely by the day. The initial implementation of Apocalypse Siege code has been migrated to the Alpha 1 client, and they should begin internal testing next month.
Probably texting and testing, both.
Yeah. It says that he's going to caveat this expectation with the fact that they're cutting it a bit close from an internal QA standpoint, but he does have confidence that it's going to be included in the Alpha 1 test in the month of June. So that's positive, and I really hope that it is included, because that's an exciting thing to have in the Alpha. That's an exciting thing for people to be able to see, even though it is very early on and it's not going to be a representation of what it's going to be. It's exciting to have that in there. So I really hope that they reach that goal, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, one of the hardest things I think in MMOs to pull off, we talk about Ashes of Creation being a very ambitious product. One of the things that's hard to pull off is large group PvP. So you would think that the largest amount of testing they can possibly gain between now and launch is going to benefit them greatly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we will see as we get to have a live look at the progress of sieges. So I'm excited to see that. And Bordy, here's a big one. Here's one we've been talking about for a long time. I think a ton of people are talking about, especially the people that have missed out on Alpha 1 access in the past. Will they open up the Alpha 1 packages? And you're going to hear it here probably maybe last, if you think about it. Yes, they are. They're going to have, in May, they're going to open up the Alpha 1 packages. So big disclaimer that again, this is a testing environment. So you're not buying into early access. You're not buying into anything like that. You're buying in to help them test the game. And in Alpha 1, you would think that it's going to be the most crude version of the game that anybody will ever play. But that is available, and I know a ton of people are interested in that. I'm one of those people, dude, that would like access to this testing, an opportunity to play it. So that's exciting, man. It will be available to buy in starting May.
Yeah, that is very exciting. It's something we've wondered about for a long time, and a lot of other people have too. So if you're interested in testing, and Steven does give he says, I
A
want to give a
stern.
stern. Yeah, there
He's
is
going dad,
stern
full
warning,
dad
he
mode.
says.
Steven the
Yeah, he
dad.
did go. He did.
The
Yeah,
internet dad
He
we
said,
all need.
yeah, you're helping to test our work in progress. You will be expected to provide feedback to help us iterate on systems and design. So it is very much a testing environment. And I think that is important that he iterated that here, because I think this game has been hyped up so much recently and over the past, several months, over the past year, that people are excited to get in there and play. And it is still very early alpha. So I think you have to understand that what you're buying into is a testing environment. Although it will be cool to later on down the road, whenever the game releases, to say, yeah, man, I participated in the first alpha. That's a cool thing to be able to say.
Mm-hmm.
But is it worth the $500 price tag to you? That's something that you have to decide for yourself, because that's a hefty price tag to go in there and test if you're not really interested in testing. So you got to make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into there.
Well,
Because some people get it mixed up, man, I think. And so I'm glad that he went deep with that. And I hope that people understand that. You know what I mean?
I mean, if they don't, then that's their own fault at this point.
It's on them, yeah.
So it's interesting. They do a pretty good job at translating backer package money to actual like release game content. So, I appreciate that they are giving the sub away, like an extended amount of the sub away in these backer packages, because if you're interested in MMOs and you're probably going to be trying out Ashes of Creation, or you're going to be playing it for at least the foreseeable future once it launches, you're going to get time. You're going to get free time to play. As well as all the cosmetic benefits. So, I do appreciate that. The price tag is steep, but at least you're getting your money's worth to some extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well that is it for the developer update for April, Bordy. Let's pop over here to the dev discussion. Now the dev discussion, this is number 29. It's called mentoring. I enjoyed this topic here. Let me find it. I apparently opened the window and then closed it, which is extremely intelligent. Let's see. So here we go. Glorious Ashes community. It's time for another dev discussion. The dev discussion topics are kind of like a reverse Q&A. They say the same thing at the beginning of each of these. I don't know why I'm reading it, but in case you haven't read it, they're asking us questions versus us asking them questions. Our design team has compiled a list of burning questions, and here is the one for this week. Number 29, mentoring. What kind of tools or rewards most encourages you to become involved in a mentorship program, either as a mentor or a mentee? Bordy, we talked a little bit about this episode about this. This is something that I'm passionate about. I know that me and you come from two different backgrounds of MMOs. So we'll let you talk first. What do you think about mentoring at programs inside of MMOs?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about a mentoring program, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I don't really care about a mentoring program. I know they're kind of cool to have in an MMO, but I'm going to be real honest here, man. Whenever I jump into an MMO and I'm kind of shoved into a mentoring program, or really encouraged to join a mentoring program and have some vet come kind of show me the ropes, I'm turned off. I typically don't enjoy that in an MMO. I want to learn things myself. I want to go through the experience myself. And I know a mentor is a little bit different. They're supposed to kind of help you along your way and help you enhance your experience of the MMO. And so in that regard, it's pretty cool. But to be perfectly honest, I don't really care about a mentoring program, and I would not miss it one bit if this were something that weren't in the game. I would never give it two thoughts. So I know some people enjoy that kind of thing. I know some people like to take newbies under their wing and mentor them, which is cool. I appreciate people that want to do that and want to help other people. That's awesome. That's a good community involvement whenever you can do that type of stuff. But for me personally, I don't want to have a mentor, nor do I want to be a mentee. And I don't want to have things locked behind that program that I can't get because I don't want to participate in it either. Like if there's some sort of cosmetic locked behind the fact that
World of Warcraft
something. Yeah.
Notorious
if
for locking like cool mounts and appearances behind the refer to friend progress.
Yep. I don't like that stuff, man. So if there's something locked behind the mentoring program, like you're telling me now I have to go mentor this dude over here and spend my time doing that just to get this mount or this cosmetic, like I'm out. I don't like that. Not out of the game, but I mean, I'm out. I don't like that type of thing. So if they do a mentoring program, hopefully there'll be some sort of rewards for people, but maybe in the form of gold or in-game currency. So something that's not like locked behind there that you have to do that to get it. That would suck. Because for people like me, dude, I don't care to be involved in a mentoring program.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with you a little bit on the fact that I don't like unique rewards to be tied behind it. I think the refer friend progress or thing and WoW got a little nutty. I think a lot of people just paid for another account. So then you're not mentoring anybody. You just go ahead and you just buy another account so you can get whatever mount, unique mounts locked behind that. Or you force your wife to play with you, which is what I did. So, but I do like the idea of making it rewarding for both parties. Like, say I have a friend that I want to get into the game and I want to help him get up to the level that I'm at. So maybe, having a system where you could power level them. I always kind of enjoyed that. One of my fondest memories from MMOs is getting power leveled in EverQuest. I always thought it was so cool. Like if someone like max level and their cool looking armor would come and take time to go take me around and just slay like low level mobs with me. I think that's just like a unique MMO experience that I'm fond of. Maybe it's good or bad. I don't know. But I do like the idea of if you have a mentoring process or some sort of system within the game to make it rewarding for both sides. And like you said, in-game items is always the best. Maybe so not if you don't want them to be unique, then something along the lines of more gold gain or reputation game or something like that. But I think if done right, I think they're pretty cool. I just like the idea of again. Allowing people to play, friends to play together despite their level or experience level. I thought Elder Scrolls Online did that really well. The fact that if I'm max level and I have a friend that comes and joins in at level 1 on a new expansion, me and him can go do the new expansion together despite the massive gap in playtime. Because that's what you want, right? If you got a friend that comes into the game, they want to play with you. That's the whole purpose. And creating opportunities or systems in place that allow that, I think, are very, very good for an MMO.
Yeah, and if they could tie that into the mentoring system, that would be fine. And I'm not against having it in the game. Like, throw it in the game. That's fine with me. Just not something I'm interested in doing. I think some people do enjoy it, and so if they enjoy it, have it in the game, man. There's nothing wrong with having it in there. It's not my cup of tea.
If Steven is the internet dad in the Ashes of Creation community, you're that uncle, that talks about Nom and how hard things were in his day. You're
Come on, bro. That is not even anywhere
I walked
close,
15
man.
miles
Come on, dude. Come
school.
on, dude. I'm not that guy. Come on, man.
I hate those. All those shiny, fancy new effects.
Dagnab technology, man. Yeah. I can't get it. Oh boy. Okay.
Anyways, so all right, so this is our final discussion here for the podcast, Bordy, and it's Guild Gathering. And so this is another series that they have. I love these. I love that the fact that they have these recurring series. I think it creates good conversation pieces. So here, Guild Gathering 3 is measuring success. How do you measure your success as a guild in a game? What kinds of things would you like to see in Ashes of Creation to help you measure that success? So, Bordy, we both have, again, 2 unique experiences as far as like guild competition and stuff here. So I think we can provide some perspective, and I'll let you go first again. What do you think about this, dude? What do you think about some sort of reputation system or like, a reward system for guilds in MMOs?
Yeah, I think that stuff's fine. I think it's cool for me. So for me personally, I'm at a stage in my life where I'm not going to try to go out and get world first or anything like that, or try to be a top guild or whatever. I just simply don't have the time in my life to do that anymore. I work full time. I have 2 kids. I have a wife. I have other obligations. I can only game for a certain amount of time each night. And sometimes I can't even get on at night. Sometimes I go a couple days without being able to play the MMO. So for me, what would measure the success for me in game as in terms of a guild would be kind of an intangible thing that you really can't measure, and that's just community. That's what would measure my success in any guild, and I would call that a very successful guild, is if you had a tight-knit community that whenever you're on, you get to go do stuff together. Not necessarily any metric that's like, oh, you were world first here, or here's your guild reputation board here. It's just the community of the guild, I think, is a very successful guild. Now, I know that's kind of not really answering the question, but that's what's important to me in a game, in an MMO, and in the guild, and that's how I would measure the guild's success. And that's not something you can put a number on or a value on. But in terms of actually like having things you could measure, I do think having those things in a game are pretty important to be able to measure. Like, okay, this guild was world first at, X, Y, and Z. Like, look at Destiny, for example. I know that's your cup of tea, Raid. You love Destiny, but every time there's a new raid in Destiny, there's always a rush for world first. That's always a huge event on Twitch, and that's always a big deal for these people. And I think Destiny even rewards those people somehow with some kind of unique items or something.
They get like real life jackets. They have a belt for the raid, like a wrestling belt. Yeah, that's really cool.
I think that kind of stuff is super cool, and then somehow get some kind of recognition in game, like have a statue of your guild or something in game would be amazing, and that would help people recognize like, oh, that guild was, they're really good. I also think things like a leaderboard, like you mentioned, in PvP are really good, so that you know who the top PvP guilds are, some kind of point system there. I think those things are really, really good for the hardcore players, and I think they're good for the overall health of the game, because we know that competition breeds longevity of a game, right? I mean, look at all these games that are very competitive games that there's not a ton to them. League of Legends, prime example. CSGO, I think, prime example. I know they're not MMOs, but they're competitive games that that if you really look at them, they haven't changed drastically over many, many years. That now there's meta changes and patches that come in and things that do change the game, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the core gameplay hasn't changed, and there's still people playing those for many years. And I think the same thing can be transitioned over to an MMO with a competitive experience. Those people that like that and want to be the top, I think you can do that, and that can be a way to measure your success. So I think, like server first, world first, all that type of stuff, maybe like a kill count counter for your guild, some kind of scoreboard, some way to recognize the top guilds in the game. So whenever you press a button, you can open up an interface that sees these guilds are top in X, Y, and Z. And even like some way to measure crafting and trading guilds. What guild has done the most trading to earn the most money? So who's the best trading guilds in the game? Who's the best crafted? What guild has crafted the most items and sold them? Or, I think those types of things are really cool. But for me to measure my success, it just all goes back to the community, man.
Yeah, I mean, especially nowadays, I think it's just fun to have good people to play with, and kind of fostering that growth. Obviously, that's hard to measure in the game, but some things that I can kind of see them doing in game as far as measurements is, like you said, acknowledging like a server first or a world first raid clear. Or maybe dominance as far as like how long they've held the siege, like the longest freehold hold has been like the X many days.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
When you talk about competitions, I do like ranking systems. I think a lot of people try to dodge them. A lot of games have tried to dodge them in fairness or in thought of like fair play and fostering a good community. But the track record for games like World of Warcraft that has like a PvP rating system and there's small group arenas that they have professional teams for, that is also, I think, a very big asset for a video game. Like you said, the competitive nature of people and what they enjoy to compete in. Having some acknowledgement or ranking system within your game, whether it be small group PvP, battlegrounds, and then you just rated per guild, stuff like that, I think can really, encourage people to spend time in your game and get better and progress and move forward. And any system like that, as far as like guild ranking and acknowledgement, I think is good. because it does a lot. It brings out the competitive nature in people, and that can be friendly. Like, I know a lot of people that really, like you said, enjoy those games and enjoy competing and know that they're never going to be ranked 1, but they still do it, right? I played Overwatch forever, and the highest I ever got was platinum, but I love the game. I had a ton of fun in there, and I love putting myself up against other players. So I think a guild rating system that allows you to measure your guild against the other guilds in the game could go a long ways, man, as far as guild pride. And dude, we already know in Ashes of Creation, like we mentioned, the sieges are going to be in the game. All the territory control, the node development, everything like that, it's going to breed competition. And so it'll be cool to have some sort of ranking system that allows you to like visualize how that competition or how that war is going through rankings.
Yeah, and I think those are very important to the overall health of your game. I think competition in MMOs is important. It keeps people logging in over and over and over just for that specific reason. If not to do any other content, they're going to continue to log in so that they can try to improve and try to be the best. And you're right, even if you know you're never going to reach that pinnacle level of like challenger in league, why do people continue to log into League of Legends when they know that they're not going to reach challenger level? Well, it's because they try to log. It's an addiction almost that you want to try to log in to continue to get better. It measures your performance over time. So you can look back like, 3 years ago I was bronze, and now 3 years later, dude, I'm platinum, like pushing diamond. Like I've gotten that much better, and then it just makes you want to keep getting better. And I think the same thing can be implemented with guild success, with leaderboards and that type of thing. So I think that's probably one of the best things you could do is add some sort of rankings for that demographic of MMO player. Everybody's not going to be into that, and if you're not into that, then that's fine. Go do other stuff in the MMO. But I think having those guild rankings and having a way to measure your success in a tangible way is important for the longevity of an MMO.
Yeah, and I think being proud of your guild activities and having a way to show those off is also very, very good for, again, getting people together, fostering a community, one that's built around, having success within the game. It's all good things. So I'm excited to see what they put in place here. I'd love to see, the server first, world first stuff. I think it's all very fun to see those races to beat down the boss, or, and things like that. I think are very, very cool. So we will see, Bordy. We will see what they choose to add in the end. So, Bordy, that about does it. That ties up this episode 23. Again, guys, I want to remind you, we should have some guests on the 25th episode. I think that's 1 year of podcasting for us, or pretty close as far as the Ashes of Creation community goes. So we're going to have some guests over on that episode, hopefully. So that's 2 episodes away, or a month away. And other than that, what do you got to say, Bordy? Let's tie this in a nice bow.
Man, I think that's about it. Just thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for sure. And thank you for being a part of the Studio Luke community, no doubt. And if you haven't already, go hit the sub button on the YouTube channel there. And if you're listening to this in audio form, even if you're not, go leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes, or a rating on any of the other podcasting platforms. It helps us out tremendously. We greatly appreciate it. And just a big thank you to you guys for being here every 2 weeks listening to the show. We appreciate it.
Also, don't forget, harass taken in the comments.
Yes, please.
We have to do it. It's obligatory. Is that a word?
Close.
Maybe matter of fact, let's not have taken on, because Taken's native language is German, I think, and he speaks better English than I do. So let's not have him on.
Both of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, scratch that. Taken, you're doing great on the programming side. We don't need you on the podcast, okay?
That was rude.
Hey, man, a compliment.
He did not deserve that, bro.
I didn't say anything mean. I was complimenting him on his ability to speak multiple languages. I only know like a couple words in French, and none of them should be said in public. And that's the extent of that. So thank you guys so much for watching. We are listening, and we really appreciate it. And we'll see you in another episode of Ashes to Go.